Join Mike and I as we share our wins, our struggles, and the lessons we've learned while raising a family, a business, and trying to stay married. Tune in and laugh with us while we dive into the real, raw, and often hilariously awkward realities. Welcome to our podcast, Date Night, with Andrea Jeffery
and Mike Jeffery. Cheers, babe.
Cheers. Happy date night.
Happy date night.
So we own together a full-service interior design and construction company. I oversee design.
I oversee construction.
There you go.
Yep.
On point.
Yes.
And we thought it would be a fun idea to get together because we don't get to spend time together really outside of work. And for a date night, create a podcast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So here we are.
Here we are. And talk about the trials and tribulations of owning a business together while also running a family, a household, a team, and still liking each other at the end of the day.
Yes, and having another full-time job on top of all that.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
You know, fit all the things.
Throw that in there.
Yeah. So tonight's subject is actually very fitting because we're both very inspired to grow our business in certain ways and become a leader in the industry. But we didn't just come up with this overnight, and we didn't just get inspired by nothing.
Right.
So we thought it would be a fun idea to talk about what inspired us and just the path of that inspiration and how it changed throughout our lives to different inspirations that all led us up to this wonderful career choice that we've made.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like Andrea just said, I mean, you can go in different phases of our lives, at different points in our lives, different things inspired us, whether it was known at that time that it would inspire us to do what we're doing now. Most likely not.
Nope.
But at least for me, you know, I grew up with a construction background. I mean, I have pictures of me working with my dad and his company that was based out of San Leandro, California. Gosh, I was probably 5 years old, pushing a push broom on a job, sweeping up nails, sweeping up sawdust.
Clean job site is a happy job site.
Clean job site is a happy job site. Don't forget that. That's paramount right there.
That needs to go on our shirts next.
I know, right? So, I mean, for me, stemming from a young age, whether I liked it or not, I was working with my dad. And granted, you know, I took a lot of that time for granted when I was growing up, just because, you know, being a teenager in middle school, high school, really, let's be honest, I mean, the last thing I wanted to do was kind of work on my summers every day, day in and day out. But that's what I ended up doing. And ultimately, deep down, without my dad knowing it at the time, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I was spending time with my dad. I was spending time with the crew of guys that we were working with. I was learning everything that I know now that I'm trying to, you know, influence on our construction side.
And our own son.
And yeah, exactly. And now with our son, he just turned 16 in September. I mean, I'm trying to instill those kinds of things into him to kind of keep this trend alive. I mean, you know, the trades are fastly becoming a forgotten art.
Yeah.
And that's something that I don't want to see. So
I think it's really important to instill those skills to the upcoming generation. Just in general, it's good knowledge to have. It makes you handy. It makes you self-sufficient. It's important. And, you know, the trades, it's not easy work. It's back-breaking work. So understanding that work ethic that comes with knowing the trades is really important.
Yeah. And I mean, not only that aspect, but seeing my dad and how he interacted with clients at the time. I mean, you know, seeing that professionalism, seeing how that communication transpired. I was able to sit in with him on a couple bid reviews, and you know, those are times that I'll never forget. You know, I mean, those all I'm going to keep forever.
Hopefully when Aiden's our age, he'll be saying the same shit. Because now it's just, okay.
Well, you know. that could be a whole nother episode there.
Well, and I had a very different upbringing. You know, my dad, he's been a union iron worker since he was, I think, 16 or somewhere around there. And so we used to go visit him on job sites. He'd be sitting, you know, having lunch on an I-beam. And, you know, I don't know that OSHA was around then, so wouldn't be tied off. He'd have his lunchbox sitting on, you know, multiple stories up.
Yep.
We'd tell the site foreman that we were there, and then he'd come down and have lunch with us. My grandmother and my mom would take us. So, and, you know, he's a tinkerer. He loves being in his garage. So I would spend, and he didn't have any boys. It was just Alethea and I, my sister and I. And, you know, he wanted to teach us how to work on cars and how to do things in the garage. And so I was always the tomboy. So I would be in there hammering nails into a piece of wood while he was doing some welding and learning from him how to work on cars and how to really just be an apprentice to him.
Yeah.
I don't know that I retained a lot of information, but I definitely couldn't work on a car today. I definitely don't want to. But I learned a lot about family dynamic and work ethic from him.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, my mom had 2 or 3 jobs. So she was a vet tech, and then she sold makeup at night. And when my sister and I would come home from school, she'd be there to make sure we had dinner and we were doing our homework. And then she'd go to her next job at night. So definitely, you know, the multi-job household of having 3 or 4 jobs at a time was instilled into me. And it just kept going.
Yeah.
I didn't have my first job, though, until I was out of high school.
Until after you met me, basically.
Hey. Now let's not get ahead of ourselves. I was a reptile specialist for my very first job.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay.
I think I was 18 and I was so excited because I got to bring a snake home and name him Jimmy. And then he escaped and we never found him again.
Not in our house. No way. But yeah, that work ethic, I mean, yes, is definitely something that, you know, I learned from my dad. Just seeing him day in and day out, the long nights. You know, his office was in a small ADU in their backyard in San Leandro, and he'd be out there till, you know, after I went to bed. You know, working either on proposals, looking at plans, because there was never anything that he could not do. I mean, the jobs that we did, that he ran. And I mean, everything that we did was in-house. I mean, we hardly subbed out anything. So everything was done by us on the job. And it still to this day, I mean, it amazes me. Like, there was nothing that he couldn't do, whether it was, you know, framing a 3-story open library tower.
Oh, that finished so cool.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean, just the list goes on. And just for him to have the knowledge, to have the know-how, to have the desire to want to know how to frame this with both steel and wood. I mean, it's just, it still to this day, it amazes me. I mean, yes, he doesn't do so much of it anymore. He's, you know, now he works for a local government agency as their building official. And, you know, he's not doing that backbreaking work anymore, thank goodness. But still to this day, I mean, he still is an inspiration, not only for me, but for so many of us in our family. I mean, we just all look up to him as you know, to what he does and what he's provided for the family. And it's just, it's invaluable. So that inspiration not only started for me at a young age, but it's progressed basically throughout, you know, my teenage years up to my adulthood up till now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really paramount to have someone that you can grow up with, that you can learn from and learn, you know, inspiration in any way, shape, or form. You know, for you, it was work ethic and, you know, being dedicated to your craft, and also family, right? Because the inspiration to be such a family man it definitely came from your family. I mean, your whole family is very focused and dedicated on just being a close-knit, I don't even know, group and so involved in each other's lives and so caring and loving that it was awe-inspiring for me to be welcomed into that family. And even though, I often felt like I wasn't good enough or I wasn't, enough in whatever way, smart enough, because your family, they're like weird smart, and but also very fun and quirky and so up my alley in those ways. It just was very it was scary coming into your family because I saw that inspiration no matter who you spoke to, and it was very, very nerve-wracking coming into that family. I always felt like, okay, don't speak, because you're going to say something really dumb.
No. My family, no, that was definitely not the case. They accepted you with open arms. And I mean, the fact that you wanted to come and work with my dad and I when we were doing side jobs after we met, that explains it right there. It was just your desire and your passion to be involved with what we were doing, because yes, it was taking up quite a bit of our time, or my time.
It was the only way I could spend time with you.
Yeah. You just got to come to work with me.
Oh yeah. If we hadn't met, we'd be on such different paths, because when we met, we were both trying to become police officers.
Yeah.
And I think I had just gotten the acceptance letter and hired on for the next Alameda County. No. This was later. But we met at an oral interview for Oakland Police.
Yep.
And then I vaguely remember you. You remember me.
Oh, yeah.
And fast forward, got hired on with Alameda County, and then got pregnant with Aiden. So I had to back out and then tried again. Shattered my tibia.
Yep.
Had to back out. And if meeting you and those two things didn't happen, I'd probably be on a very different path. And I don't know that we'd still be like here.
Yeah, I don't know. If we go back and think about it, I don't know where we would be at. As a couple, I know we would still be married. But, if those events didn't transpire, you didn't have that come to fruition phone call with your friend Selena.
Hi, Selena.
And, that was the pivotal turning point in you pursuing what it was that you actually wanted to do.
Yeah.
Which is design.
You inspired me in so many ways when we met regarding work ethic and just how to be a better person. And then she inspired me by just asking the right questions, because she knew me. Mm-hmm. She still knows me. And, trying to find a passion, because I didn't know what I was going to do. I was in this weird mental state of not wanting to talk to anybody, my whole life had changed. It stopped.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want anybody to come to the door. I wasn't eating anything but a Greek yogurt during the day. I was bedridden for 3 months. And I didn't even want to interact with the kids. It was such a weird time.
It was a weird time. It was a weird time. It's funny. Not funny, but it's crazy how trauma can kind of segue your life into a different path.
Yeah, it stopped it.
It stopped it completely.
Yeah, and then I had to backpedal and figure out, well, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah.
What am I going to do for the rest of my life? I was 27, 26?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Right.
And I felt like we owned a home. It was our second home. We had 2 kids. I had to do something.
Yeah.
And so she inspired me to try a path down one of my passions, which was always art.
Yep.
And then couple that with the passion that I was learning from you for construction.
Yeah.
It really changed my whole mindset. So then I went to school. I think 48 hours or 72 hours later, I was enrolled in a design and architecture program.
Yeah, and it was full time, and you were still working full time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the beginning.
That was the beginning of my weird sleep schedule.
The no sleep schedule? Is that the one you're
if you want to split hairs, yeah.
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 So that lasted, you were in school for what?
3 years.
3 years full time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I mean, almost every night you were working on assignments, doing these weird projects where you had to make a chair out of cardboard and all this
And you had to
different
sit in
crap.
it?
Yeah,
Do you
and I had to
remember
sit in
that?
it. Oh yeah. I remember it very well.
Tension bridge design and how that assists in furniture design.
There you
Thank
go.
you very much.
There you go.
Disperse the weight.
Disperse the weight. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that.
Dispersing the weight?
Yeah, no, I just sit. So
But it held up.
it did hold up. Yes, I do
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I did good. Yeah, and now, gosh, fast forward to today, because we could go on whole tangents on any of these subjects.
Yeah.
What inspires me now is just wanting to be better tomorrow than I am today, wanting to be a better leader, wanting to be a better wife. I cooked dinner last night.
Yes.
Well, you chopped it. I cooked it.
I prepped, you cooked.
Yeah.
You can take credit for it. It's okay.
Okay, I'll take 3/4. I also didn't leave enough broth in the soup, so it was a little dry today and watered down because I had to add water.
It's fine. It was still good. It was still good.
Overestimated the pot
You have a
size.
lot of leftovers. Yeah.
I don't measure, I just throw shit in. But yeah, I think seeing what other people are doing in the industry today too on that same path really inspires me. So Mike actually made a list of, is it 2 or 3 of the people that we follow on Instagram that really inspire us to want to be better.
Yeah. And I know you follow a couple of them. The first one is Erin Stetzer Holmes, and she's out of Houston, Texas. And I mean, just the quality of work that she does is, I mean, it's so good. Whether it's a new build, whether it's integrating a remodel into what's currently there. I mean, the work is just top notch. And what's cool too is that she has like this online course that's either catered towards homeowners or it's catered towards industry professionals. And it kind of gives them, I guess, tips, things to look out for in the process, whether you're a homeowner or kind of an industry professional. So yeah, I mean, just the work that she does, and then she'll. Sorry, I'm messing with
Just
the mic.
fix it.
It's sagging.
Just fix
it's sagging. I gotta go this way, and
There
then I
you
gotta
go.
go this way. Like what Trey said, you gotta loosen it and then you gotta tighten it. There you go, something like that.
There you go.
right.
There you go.
But yeah, and then like the videos that she does are cool too because she'll focus on one aspect of the build, whether it's a return air grill or a countertop edge detail.
Or floor transitions.
Floor transitions, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just super detailed, super clear and concise. Just really neat.
Yeah, what inspires me about her is not only her attention to detail, because understanding in rough construction how something is going to finish and being able to envision the two together is really critical to good quality work.
Yeah.
And she sees it, she understands it, she communicates with their designers and their architects that they work with, and is able to, through her educated her videos where she's educating on how they got to this finished detail, she's extremely knowledgeable, and that's what inspires me because this is a man's world. We are a full bore in an industry led by males, and it is very difficult for a woman to break into this industry and be respected. You almost have to be more, in everything in order to be on the level of a man in this industry who's, maybe they're cutting corners, maybe they're not, maybe they're great, but you just have to be more.
Yeah.
And you have to know more. You have to be more educated. You have to talk the lingo. You have to be, and I am me. You're just going to get me whether you like it or not. So I've worked really hard with you, asking your dad questions, the knowledge that I have from my dad, and the knowledge that I have from other people that I've worked with in the industry, other guys and other ladies who have been very strong in their profession, who have also inspired me along the way. It's just really great to see another female that's leading in this industry, that's educating and changing the way the industry is seen, and focusing on something that, like you said earlier about just trades in general, it's a dying breed.
Yeah.
And so attention to detail and focus on detail and understanding how all these keys come together and make an amazing space, a completed space, a well thought out space is also a dying breed.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. Who's one of the other people that you have on your list?
One of the other ones is AFT Construction, and it's a finer touch, and they're out of Phoenix. And what I like about them is they're a general construction firm. And in Phoenix, Arizona, I mean, there's a lot of landscape that they build into. So they have like a lot of modern touches. They accentuate, hallways with kind of a window at the end that will focus on something that's, in the topography off in the distance, either a tree or, a mountain kind of off in the So just the way that they play off of what's already in nature into their builds. And they're just super modern in a lot of their designs. I mean, they do a lot of traditional stuff, but I think their wheelhouse is new construction and kind of more on the modern end, where they have like, the pivot doors and, those kinds of systems and everything. So just really neat stuff that we're going to start incorporating into jobs that we have coming up, which is, I'm really looking forward to that. But just the attention to detail, like Aaron Stetzer also, I mean, it's unmatched. It's unmatched.
It's hard to come by, and being able to design and do the architecture to play with the landscape around you, that's kind of the definition, right? Of when you have land. We have a bug in here.
Yeah, there's a fly.
Sorry. Being able to integrate and design around the landscape that you're building with is kind of the definition of architecture, right? And good design.
Without altering what's already there, playing into what's there and accentuating what's there. Is really cool.
Yeah, being able to see what other people are doing that care about the quality, that care about the results for the client is huge to me, because this is not an industry. This is an industry driven by consumers, right? Like you have to have a customer to do this, because we cannot afford to do this ourselves.
Yeah.
Like everything we make goes back into the business.
Yeah.
We have a remodel we want to do, but we're probably going to have to win the lottery to do it. It's really amazing to see another industry professional actually care about that client's perspective. Because although it's based on consumers, you have to have a client to do this. Not a lot of people understand that or remember that when they're doing a project. So oftentimes our clients inspire me because we get feedback, we get constructive criticism, and I feed that constructive criticism. I almost got a fly in my mouth. I'm not going to lie. I almost got extra protein for the day. We get that constructive feedback, and I feed that to the team and ask them to come up with a list of ways to solve those problems. And it's nice to see these other builders that are also doing those things and caring about the end result for their clients that are spending a lot of money to do this.
Oh yeah. Lots of money. Lots of money. So yeah, I mean, what I individually, but I think we as a couple, as business owners, that's like kind of what we strive for, is to be eventually at a level of this magnitude.
Yes.
With flies buzzing around.
Oh my God. You have the door open for 2 minutes.
I know.
It's, not only the level, but the attention to detail.
Yeah.
We already have. We have a team that cares, that understands that attention to detail.
Sure.
But just continuing to grow a team that cares.
Yeah.
And making sure we don't lose that as we're growing this company.
Right. Right. Yeah. We don't want to lose sight of
Okay, I hit it.
of what the end product would be, you know.
I swear to God, I'm fighting a fly. I've hit him 3 times.
Do we want to
Nope. I'm just
try to get
arguing
him?
with the fly. It's fine.
Okay.
We're having an argument.
All right.
We don't see eye to eye.
Okay. Oh dear.
Who's next on your list that inspires you?
The last one that I have is so they're out of the Pacific Northwest up in, I think they're in Seattle. So the Instagram handle is Awesome Framers, but the name of his company is Pioneer Builders.
Oh.
And I like this guy. He does all framing, only residential. But what's cool is that like he makes light of a lot of things. Like a lot of his videos, there's a shit ton of humor built into them. You know, he'll bring his wife into a lot of the videos. He does a lot of product reviews. He'll do like giveaways, Q&As every once in a while. So, I mean, just the whole like way that his Instagram is like formatted, I think is really neat. And like when you go onto his website, I mean, the very first tagline is dedicated to education in the trades, which is nice.
Oh,
so,
that's really nice.
yeah, he's wanting to give back into the trades what he's putting in. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. There's, what did they say a few years ago when they did a survey? For every 10 contractors that are retiring, 1 or 2 come back in
Yeah, I believe
and fill
it.
the spots.
I believe it.
Yeah, and it's actually hurting the labor rates because when you have less trades, less crafted individuals, less educated individuals in that craft, let's say, it's harder to come by good labor, and so they can charge what they want to charge, and
Yeah.
it just starts creeping that labor rate up, and that. Right now in the end of 2024, inflation is a problem, and the fact that we're in California, those are 2 points. But the other side to that is just not, it's harder to find good quality people. So those that are good can charge more because they're more sought after.
Sure.
And those people are booked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's all those factors are driving labor rates up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about our inspiration, right? And so one of the people that I follow on Instagram that inspires me is Stephanie Builds It is her handle. And don't make fun of my old lady glasses. I know they're amazing and everybody wants one. So she's a co-founder of Job Site Codes. It's a website. Stephen Daly Construction. It's a home builder. So she owns a construction company, and she's a contributor to the Build Show. And what I love about her is she just walks around. I love watching the videos where she walks around the job site and she talks through details, kind of like Aaron Stetzer, right? But talks through the details, talks through what they do on the job site, ways that they bring the trades together, and just talks through the details. She did this segment. You know how I get like overly excited about doors and windows when they come in, and
absolutely.
It's like stupid silly.
Yep.
But she did this segment on windows and just understanding the construction of the glass in windows and how that benefits the home for energy efficiency and the glass rating and sound rating and all these things. And those videos alone really inspired me because I think that it's really important you be that knowledgeable about everything you're putting into your client's house.
Yeah.
She did another one about exterior siding and the underlayment that they were putting on the house and wrapping the house with before they put on, I don't know if it was hardy, but it was a material similar to that. And I wish I knew where they were located because I love watching her. And I just think it's inspiring, again, to see another female leading in this industry and putting themselves out there, because before social media, that was not a thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And being in the minority of this industry and just putting yourself out there for judgment and all these things, like, we were talking to Trey before we started about just being, worried about what other people think of you. Just put yourself out there. It doesn't matter. And it just opens you up to a lot of criticism. And, if you say one wrong thing on the video and you post it, you could be instantly thought of as uneducated in this industry if you're a female. As a guy, you have a little bit more leniency, but I feel like it leans heavier on the other side. And so I am always concerned about like, oh, crap, did I say the right thing? Did I say the wrong thing? Like I had to pull a video back once because I misspoke, and it was just like verbal vomit. And Trey apparently identifies as vomit. His words, not mine. This is a pick on Trey night. And so, it was like verbal vomit. And I was just talking about these slabs, and we were in the slab yard, and they were quartzite slabs. They were actually, I said quartz slabs. And I was just like, we can't put that up there. We have to redo the whole video, because it was very obvious those were not quartz behind me, but it was like brain on autopilot, and it just went.
Yeah.
And so I love seeing other females in this industry put themselves out there and be a leader.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to make it more kind of the norm to have more female entrepreneurs, builders, designers, kind of, like you just said, putting themselves out there.
Yeah.
Making those mistakes. I mean, like what we talked about on our last podcast, we're all human, As long as we can own up to those mistakes, we can recognize them, we can learn from them, grow. I mean, that's I'm all for it. You know?
I mean, I'm the first one to vocalize my faults, right? I very clearly know what they are. You just have to own the fact that you have them in order to grow from them.
Sure.
And if you know it's a weakness of yours, then maybe your weakness is not where you belong. Maybe it's somewhere else, and you put a person in that position that is your weakness.
Yeah.
And I think our team is very inspirational to me, because they see my weaknesses and they still, hopefully, I mean, they have to say this because they're paid, but they appreciate the fact that, I have those weaknesses, and they fill those gaps.
Yeah. Yeah, like with any successful team, right? You surround yourself with people that are going to not only bring you up, but you're going to have the ability to bring them up in areas that they may be lacking in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely a trade-off, if you will, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's very inspiring when we're sitting together at the table, or we're talking about something, and then I say, well, very cynically, did we do this? And Wendy's like, yeah. Here you go. And it's so inspiring, because
that happens so often. It's unbelievable.
Probably daily. I'm a self-deprecator. Okay. Like, I think very low of myself, so that I will always try harder to overcome those self-doubts. Sure. Right. And so I love seeing it in the team where they're a step ahead of me, and they know what I expect, because I do very well expect a lot out of anybody around me. I think fast, I go fast, I work fast, but it's just the way my brain works. Sometimes my mouth does not catch up with what's happening here. And it's very hard to be around me sometimes, and I'm very recognizable. I recognize that. And it's inspiring to see the team push forward and put me in my place. Like, we're done with you. You can leave. I love it.
I'm not going to continue on that conversation.
No, you're not allowed to say that.
Nope.
The kids say it a lot.
Your place.
Mel says it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You can leave now. But I was just asking you about your day.
Who else is on your list of people that inspire? Not to move on or anything, but
not to shut me up and keep going.
Huh?
Beg your pardon? Squeeze me?
Baking powder?
Gosh, that was really it.
Oh,
Everyone else that inspires me, you've already talked about. Okay. I did meet this one gal when we went to North Carolina to market the furniture market. And she's in, I want to say Oregon, and we follow each other now. And it was so great because she's a builder. She's our age. She brought a team with her, an older gentleman who's more of her project manager, ops manager, and then another designer. And then she's a builder. And I'm now watching her videos, and she is out there, boots on the ground, like me. She's in the mud. She's doing additions. She's tearing things down, and she's walking you through it. And she's also, installing artwork and pillows and things like that, like what we do. And it's just really nice to see another female in this industry our age coming up in it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about social media, right? I mean, all these people that may have been in the industry before all this are now being recognized and being seen and being heard and, making a change in this whole industry for the better.
Yeah, I think with our goals, I love you doing this with me because, we know how this path has gone by me wanting construction under our umbrella and the path that's taken us on, the learning that we did, the bad decisions I made, and the moving on from those, and having you by my side to do this with me in the many years it took me talking you into doing this with me.
Just a few.
And just seeing the years of my pain points and like not talking about anything else for hours after I came home, and you just giving in, sacrificing, and now doing this with me has been really inspiring because it tells me that we're on the right path. We are where we are supposed to be, and we're on a trajectory to potentially change the way our industry is viewed by the public and other trades and other construction, owners and professionals. And that alone, that vision is my inspiration and my drive, because there is such a better way to run this industry, to run a construction company, to treat your clients and to work with your clients in a collaborative way where they're along the journey with you.
Oh, yeah.
And you get to kind of summarize the story for them and just watch their experience through the process.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a homeowner, I mean, you should be as involved as you want to be. However, we should be able to handle kind of the day-to-day, everything else that's involved with running a construction project to minimize their involvement, their stresses related to it. That's what we're there for.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they hired us.
Exactly.
So
and to know that we're their advocate. We're not just there to empty their pockets because we want to. We are there to educate and guide their investment so that they can make the educated decision based on the information we're providing, based on what they're looking for.
Yep.
And then if we provide that information and they get to guide it, then they know the end result is going to be everything that they had in their head.
Yep.
And just having that open communication with our clients is key.
Yep.
It's huge.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm excited you're on this journey with me.
I'm 100%, babe.
Okay. Are you empty or can we cheers again?
No, we can cheers to that.
Okay. Cheers, Coca-Cola.
Cheers to the future.
Cheers to the future.
And the now. And the future. I ruined it. Sorry. Cheers.
I think that's a cut.